Radio Free 102.3 KJLH. Good morning. Happy Hot Topic Tuesday. I'm Dominique DiPrima. As I'm approaching this microphone, I am asking for blessings from God Almighty, the ancestors, the righteous elders, and Southern California's early morning communications drum is wide open, and we welcome you worldwide, wherever you happen to be, countywide, citywide. If you're listening online at kjlhradio.com, we welcome you. I like to start my days with gratitude, just giving thanks to God, to you, to the air we breathe, the water that is available to us coming out of the faucet, everything good, everything on the way to being good. Let's talk about it. 205554. I'm going to go to Byron calling us from Azusa. Good morning, Byron. Byron, you there?
Yes, good morning.
Welcome.
Can you hear me? Yes. I'm just wondering why no one's talking about the child that was murdered in Louisiana.
Yeah, go ahead and talk about it. I wasn't aware of the case.
I wasn't either.
And it's terrible, but you can understand why no one's talking about it. There's like a lot going on. There's death, destruction, election, but this is the place for stuff like this to be talked about. So why don't you go ahead and share your concerns?
Yeah, my concern is it's kind of like being swept under the damn rug. And it's like, okay, this child was murdered. He was picked up by a white woman with her two sons, taken to a damn trailer park, and they didn't see him for 4 days, and the police were like, well, he probably went out with his friends or whatever, the father. And he's like, no, my son doesn't leave like this. And so they said 4 days later, they found him in a creek 20 miles away from his house. So what boy walks 20 miles and jumps in a pond to go swimming? It's not, it doesn't.
Yeah, well, from what I'm reading in the Washington Post, they said they found him in a field. So that's even more suspicious because they initially said he drowned. So
right.
So if he was how do you drown in a muddy field? Like that doesn't happen. The child was, I think, 17.
He was 15.
15. Okay. Yeah. No, you're right. He was 15. He was 15. And they're saying that, he appeared to have drowned, but his face was all messed up. They're saying aquatic animals.
How? Okay.
Got to his face, which is
right.
Really?
Okay, so if aquatic animals got to his face, why aren't his ears and his nose chewed off?
And why is he in a field and not a lake or a river? You know what I mean? Or a river. Aquatic animals transported him to a field. Okay. Either way, it's highly likely. It's a very suspicious story. The other thing that struck me as a mom as really terrible, the police came to the home of and apparently this investigation is very weak, but the police did go to the home of the people who he was last seen with, a white family. And they went to their home 4 days after Kawan disappeared, but before his body was found. Now, his 17-year-old friend confirmed that the kid, that Kawan had gone to their house, gotten them in their car, gone to their house, which is a trailer park, and then they claim he left on his own and just went off somewhere. As a mom, if you pick up a 15-year-old kid and take him to your home, do you just let that kid leave? No, you contact the parents and say, hey, are you picking up your son? Am I dropping him off? Now, once the child is found dead, the Irvins, they never contact the black family and say, oh my gosh, we're so sorry, what can we do? They still haven't heard from this family. So if you've taken my son without my permission and then let him wander off without seeing where he's going, and then he comes up dead, you don't even call me? That's real crazy.
Dominique, what they said is that the mom says she was high on mushrooms.
Oh, I didn't see that.
That's cray-cray right there.
Well, they're living in a trailer park now. The police and the family are trying to contact them now that the child has been found dead. and they can't reach them, and they're saying they were evicted from the trailer park. Now, none of this means that they're necessarily the murderers, but maybe. And if you're not, at least you should be doing everything you can to bring justice for this child.
That kind of disturbs me because, people like that live in trailer parks and stuff. I have nothing against that. But what I'm saying is, how do you know that they didn't have some, brothers or uncle or whatever, rednecks, straight up. Rednecks come over, sorry, I almost cussed.
Thank you for not
over,
cussing.
Right. So how do you know that they didn't show up and be like, you got this little black kid here, and then, drag his ass out? Straight up.
Yep, we don't know. That's exactly right. We don't know.
And I'm sorry, if I vulgar, I'm sorry.
No, I mean, I understand the emotion of that.
I have 4 boys.
Right. And this is in a tiny little town in Louisiana, right? They're calling it a village in the Post. But the point is, we have that mentality here in Southern California, too. Let's not fool ourselves.
Right. We do. And the thing is, my family is from Louisiana. So, we're from a little town called Minden. And really it's not that far from that town. And it's pitch dark out there. It is pitch dark. At nighttime, there's no kid that will walk out there like that. I promise you, they wouldn't.
Okay, so the Washington Post here says he was found November 3rd in a sugarcane field near his tiny village about 25 miles north of his home. You're right. That's crazy. And I've never been to a sugar cane field, so I don't know if they're like rice fields where they have water in the bottom or.
They do, because my wife.
So it's almost like a swamp. Field. Yeah.
It's they have to have irrigation. So I'm sure there's water there. They have to have irrigation to water that stuff.
So that's what it is. It's somewhere between a creek and a field, right?
Yeah. And they said they found him in a creek, and his face, his mouth is missing.
Yeah. That's crazy. I'm glad you brought this story to our attention. I think it's, the thing we do is we track it. It sounds like they're starting to get a lot of calls on it because the Washington Post is saying that the police department is not calling them back.
No, they're not.
And so that means, this kind of conversation makes more and more people call. It's a story we'll track. His nickname was Bobby. We can't bring Quawan Bobby Charles back, but certainly we can show that we value his life and that we expect an investigation.
There's just something really, really, really wrong with this.
Yeah,
I think that lady had a lot to do with it. Because you pick up a child without telling the parent, because he was with his father.
Who does that? I mean, really, who does that?
That's crazy. If somebody picked up my kid, I would go nuts.
Right. Even if your kid came back fat and happy, you'd be like, wait, what? You took my kid? All right. Thank you, Byron.